All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take one of the most famous, most iconic scenes in the entire book of Genesis. You know the one, Abraham and his three mysterious visitors. And we are going to unlock it. I mean, really unlock it. We're going to peel back layer after layer to get to this profound, hidden teaching. And listen, it's not just about being a good host. No, this is about the very fabric of reality, about the ultimate journey of the soul. You see, this isn't just a story. It's a cosmic blueprint. So, let's dive in.
So here it is, the verse we've all heard 1,000 times. It feels so familiar, right? On the surface, it seems pretty straightforward. Abraham's just resting, God appears, and then boom, 3 guys show up. And for literally millennia, this has been held up as the gold standard for hospitality. But the ancient mystics, they looked at this and saw something completely different. They saw a code, a vessel for a much deeper, much more explosive truth, just waiting for us to find it.
Okay, before we even start decoding, let's really see the scene. I want you to picture this, not like some old historical painting, but like a live, transcendent event happening right now. The air is thick, it's shimmering with heat waves. And Abraham, the patriarch, he isn't just chilling out. He's in a state of deep meditative connection, recovering from his covenant with the divine. So when he lifts his eyes, he sees more than just some travelers. The light itself seems to bend around these figures. They're like these luminous projections, literally stepping out of pure radiance. And the Zohar teaches that the divine presence, the Shekinah, was the very atmosphere of this whole thing, which means the air wasn't just hot, it was holy.
So what are we actually looking at here? Is this a physical event or is it a vision? Well, that phrase, in the heat of the day, kishem hayom in Hebrew, that's our first major clue. The mystical texts tell us this has nothing to do with the temperature. No, Keshem Hayom is a signal for a very specific spiritual state, a moment of intense revelation when the veils between the worlds are at their absolute thinnest. This, right here, is the key that unlocks the door to a whole hidden reality.
So here's our game plan for this journey. First, we'll break down that vision in the heat. Then we'll get into the interpretive tool we need to go deeper, the 4 worlds of meaning. From there, we'll unveil the great secret of what we're calling the patriarchal welcome protocol. Then we'll trace the soul's entire journey through this process, translate it into some cool modern analogies, and finally bring all this cosmic wisdom right back down to earth to see what it actually means for our lives today.
Now, to really get what's happening, we can't just stay on the surface. We need a specific kind of interpretive technology, an ancient system known as Pardes. It's a Hebrew acronym and it stands for 4 different levels of understanding, each one deeper than the last. Think of it like our submarine for this deep dive, taking us from the sunny surface of the story all the way down to the hidden structures on the ocean floor.
These 4 levels are, first, Pshat, which is just the simple story. Abraham welcomes 3 guests. Easy enough. Then there's Remez, the allegorical hint. Okay, maybe they're angels with special missions. Then Drash, the philosophical lesson. This story teaches us the virtue of hospitality. But today we are going all the way down to that 4th and deepest level, Sod, the secret. This is the dimension where the Zohar and the Kabbalists live, revealing the hidden metaphysical machinery that's actually powering the entire story.
Okay, deep breath. We've arrived. This is the heart of the mystery. We are now entering the level of Sod. And what you're about to hear, it's going to completely reframe this entire biblical episode. This is not about a man in a tent. So what is it about? It's about the soul after death. We're talking about a sacred protocol, a divine procedure for welcoming a righteous soul into the higher realms. So here's the crucial question. If this scene isn't really about Abraham's kindness on earth, then who in the world are these 3 figures? What is actually happening here? This question is the lock. And believe me, the Zohar has the key.
And here it is, the big one, the great secret, revealed in the Midrash HaNe'elam, one of the oldest parts of the Zohar. These 3 men, they weren't just angels. They were the spiritual archetypes of the 3 patriarchs themselves, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see, they weren't visiting Abraham in his tent. They were descending as a unified divine chariot, a Merkava, to perform a sacred function.
This is the paradigm shift. The entire scene is a depiction of an istiqbal, a term that means divine reception. We are not watching an event in the physical life of Abraham. What we're being shown is the metaphysical process that happens the moment the soul of a righteous person leaves this world. So Abraham's tent, that becomes a metaphor for the gateway between worlds. And the meal? That isn't food, it's a process of spiritual integration. Now, to make this ancient idea totally crystal clear, let's use a modern analogy.
Don't think of this as a casual visit. Think of it as a multi-node arrival gateway. It's like a high-level, encrypted, celestial checkpoint. When a specific type of data, a righteous soul, gets uploaded from our physical dimension, this specialized protocol kicks in to receive it, verify it, and then integrate it seamlessly into the higher cosmic system.
And this system is engineered with this perfect three-part precision. As you can see here, the Zohar maps it all out. These three figures line up with three primary divine emanations, or sephirot, and each one has its own color and function. First up, Abraham's archetype. That's the sephira of chesed, unbounded kindness. This is the white light, the compassionate intake protocol. The second, Isaac, is gevura, strength and judgment. This is the red light, the rigorous verification protocol. And the third, Jacob, is tiferet, harmony. That's the green light, the integration protocol that beautifully balances the other two, weaving the soul perfectly into the fabric of the upper worlds.
And this whole protocol doesn't just happen in a vacuum. The Zohar makes a big point that the Shekinah, the immanent divine presence, is right there with them. So in our tech analogy, if the three patriarchs are the processing nodes, the Shekinah is the operating system itself, the actual field of reception that makes this whole transcendent interaction possible. It's a complete, self-contained divine system in action.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together and trace the whole sequence of events. Let's actually walk through the journey of a righteous soul as it passes from this world and gets received by this divine welcoming committee. The mystics describe this not as a moment of fear, but as this incredibly orchestrated and beautiful transition.
Here's the five-step process. First, the soul of the righteous person leaves its physical body. Immediately, a divine announcement goes out across the upper realms, like a bulletin, declaring the arrival of this worthy soul. In response, that unified force of the patriarchs, the divine chariot, descends to the boundary of our world. Step 4 is the encounter itself, the meeting in the heat of the day. That's that peak moment of transition. And finally, after the reception and the verification, the soul is escorted and just beautifully integrated into what the scripture calls the bundle of life, the collective soul and the world of truth.
And look, this isn't just a theory, it's spelled out directly in the source texts. The Zohar says that a worthy soul ascends to a place like a supernal altar, where the archangel Michael, who, by the way, corresponds to that white light of Hesed and Abraham, acts as the high priest. He's the one who offers these souls, presenting them before the divine. And this just brilliantly shows how all the characters in our story, Abraham, the angels, the patriarchs, are all just different facets of one single unified cosmic process.
You gotta notice the number 3. It is the fundamental architectural constant of this whole system. Why 3 visitors? Well, because, as the Kabbalists teach, the human soul itself is a trinity. We have Nefesh, our biological life force, Ruach, our spirit of emotion and intellect, and Neshama, our highest divine spark. So these 3 levels of our soul are met and processed by the 3 patriarchs, who themselves embody the 3 primary spiritual forces of kindness, rigor, and harmony. It's just this perfect resonant symmetry that runs through the entire cosmos.
Now, I know this is all very profound, but it can also feel a little abstract. So to make this ancient wisdom really click, we're going to translate it into 2 modern models, one for the heart and one for the mind. First, let's try the video game analogy. Just imagine you've spent your whole life playing an epic quest. You've fought the battles, you've made the right choices, you've leveled up your character with good deeds. When you finally complete the game, you don't just get a game over screen. No way! Instead, the 3 legendary guardians of the game, the original master players, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, personally appear before you. They greet you, they congratulate you, and they personally escort you into the next level, this world of light that you have now earned access to. Now for the cosmic engineering model. Upon cessation of biological function, an autonomous multi-system protocol is initiated. The soul entity is compassionately received by the Chesed intake system. Simultaneously, its entire record of actions and intentions is rigorously verified against a universal constant of truth by the Gevura verification system. Upon successful validation, the Tiferet integration system harmonizes the entity, interfacing it perfectly with the higher dimensional mainframe. See? 2 models, 1 profound truth.
So, this is all fascinating mystical cosmology, for sure. But the real purpose of this wisdom isn't just to map out the afterlife. It's to fundamentally change how we live our lives right here, right now. So what's the practical takeaway from this incredible vision? Why does this matter to us today?
Okay, a few key things to take away. First,
Biblical stories aren't flat. They are multi-layered data streams. They've got history, philosophy, and at the deepest level, metaphysical code. Second, the journey of the soul is not some leap into a dark unknown. It's a structured, conscious, and profoundly meaningful process. Third, and this is probably the most important point of all, our actions here on earth are not isolated. They are actively programming the very reception we are going to receive one day. The kindness we show becomes the Abraham that greets us. The truth and discipline we live by, that becomes the Isaac that verifies us. And the harmony we create in the world, that becomes the Jacob that integrates us. And finally, this teaches us that the universe isn't random. It is a unified system built on these fundamental forces: kindness, rigor, and harmony.
And that really brings us to the final, personal question. This isn't theoretical. It's the most practical question there is. If this welcome protocol were initiated for your soul, right this second, what would that divine reception find? What data would be presented to that cosmic system of kindness, rigor, and harmony? It's a question worth reflecting on. Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.